Hello, welcome back. I'm just sitting here having a coffee in one of Melbourne's best laneways, the Grave Street, right in the heart of Melbourne CBD. And I'm here to do the video part 4, buying commercial real estate. For those of you that watched parts 1, 2 and 3, you'll remember that in part 1 we talked a little bit about what is a commercial property and the different types of assets. In part 2 we talked about the Retail Leases Act, which is the statutory act that governs most of the commercial properties here in Victoria. And in part 3 we delved more deeply into retail properties and what is a retail property and what are the important things to look for with retail properties. So in this video, what I'd like to do is to go more in depth around retail property and talk a little bit about, when we look at retail property, what are the things that we need to look at that govern both the value and determine the quality of the retail asset. You'll remember in part 3, we talked about 2 different types of retail assets, and they were destination retail and impulse retail. Destination retail are retail assets that people predetermine the visit. In other words, they've decided that they're going to go to Bunnings or they're going to go to Good Guys because they want to buy something and they know that a particular tenant is located in that location. That's destination retail. Typically, those assets are good, but they don't rely on pedestrian traffic. What you see behind me here in Grave Street is impulse retail. And what happens here is the consumer is walking along the footpath or here, and they'll see a shop that they like and they'll just walk in. A lot of times it's not predetermined, it's just done on impulse. And that's the difference between impulse and destination retail. And what I love is impulse retail. You'll also remember in part 3, we talked about the 2 different types of customers that walk into these shops, and they are new customers or existing. So an existing customer might be someone that works here in the city that visits this shop on a regular basis. And you'll know that coffee customers, usually the most loyal. So these are customers that keep coming time and time again. So they work in the city, they know the shop's there, they walk by the shop and they move in. These are existing customers. There are also new customers so these are customers that are visiting the city for the first time, or for whatever reason they've just managed to walk through here and they walk in, and these are new customers. And what the proprietor is trying to do there is provide a good experience so they can be converted from new customers into existing. The term existing can also mean regular. And when we look at a retail business like this, there are 2 metrics that are really, really important. The first metric is customer count, okay? And that's the number of customers that a shop like this one will get in a week. And let's say it's 2,000 or 1,000 or 3,000. That metric is really, really important because that's effectively where the revenue comes from. The second metric is what we call ticket, and that's the average amount of money that they spend when they're in the shop. Now, the ticket is something that the proprietor needs to focus on in terms of how they price their goods. But in terms of the customer count, that's really, really critical. And the customer count can be divided into regular and existing customers and new customers. And this is where the retail asset is really, really important. The location of a shop is critical, and the value of that shop is directly linked to the amount of pedestrian traffic. And that's why I love the Grave Street, because there's so much traffic here. So the more traffic, the more customer counts, and the higher the expected revenue in theory. So how does all this link back to the quality of the retail asset? Well, you'll remember that the value of a retail asset is determined by capitalising the rent. And if a shop has high revenue, the higher the revenue, the more rent they can afford to pay, and therefore the rent is directly linked to the value of the property. So in theory, if this property here if this business that I'm sitting here in front of does $1 million a year, and the amount of pedestrian traffic doubles, and all of a sudden it goes from $1 million to $2 million, in theory, they can afford to pay double the rent. And if they can afford to pay double the rent, then when we capitalise that rent, the value of that asset will be a lot higher. Okay, so let's summarise that again. There are 2 types of retail: destination retail, impulse retail. Which one's better? I think impulse retail is the superior retail. When we look at impulse retail, what's important is pedestrian traffic, okay? With pedestrian traffic, you can get potentially new customers or existing customers that are visiting the shop. Why is pedestrian traffic very, very important? Because it has a direct correlation to potential revenue for a business. Now, if pedestrian traffic doubles, potentially revenue can also double, and that proprietor could also potentially be able to afford double the rent. How do we value retail properties? We capitalise the rent. Therefore, if we can get a business to pay more rent, potentially we can also improve the value of that shop, and that's why pedestrian traffic is critical. The reverse is also true. If there's a fall in pedestrian traffic, typically that'll mean the business won't be able to afford as much rent, and therefore the value of that shop could potentially fall. So what we're looking to do is we want to buy retail properties that have great impulse buying, good pedestrian traffic, but more importantly, we want to buy in an area where potentially that traffic will increase in the future, irrespective of what the ticket value is. Ticket value is something that the proprietor needs to determine, and potentially it may be the wrong business. We don't really care whether it's the right business or not. What we want to do is we want to maximise the rent, and we may be sitting on a tenant that may not be suitable for that particular shop. So what we want to do is we want to buy something where the shop is able to afford the maximum amount of rent, and we want to be able to find a tenant that's most suitable. Now in De Grave Street here, most of the shops here are food businesses. So typically the highest and best business, hypothetically, that you can have here is a food business. However, you may be able to get some corporates as well. Irrespective of that, what we need to do is we need to try and maximise the rent. Now, rent is critical, and this is what I want to spend a lot of time talking about. I might need to do lots and lots of videos just talking about rent, because it's such an important subject when we talk about commercial property. In this particular case, just what we need to understand from this video, however, is that De Grave Street is a perfect example of impulse retail, quality retail that'll be quality both now and into the future, especially because this particular street is part of a tourist destination that Melbourne uses on the map. So when overseas tourists come to Melbourne, De Grave Street is a very popular thoroughfare for those tourists, and that also helps as well. In my next video, I want to talk about 3 key metrics: passing rent, market rent, and profit rent. These are really, really critical when we're looking at retail property and when we're valuing retail property. So the next video will be on those 3 key metrics that are really, really critical. But hopefully from this video, what you're getting is the importance of the 2 different types of retail property and why pedestrian traffic is so critical. So when you're looking at a property that has very limited pedestrian traffic, what you should always be thinking is that's potentially a destination retail, or it may just be an office. So it could be property that looks like it's retail, but in fact what it is, it's an office. And what are offices? Offices are destination retail. So know the difference between an office and a proper retail property. And if anything comes up in De Grave Street here, my advice would be to snap it up